Namaste, Angel. This is the weekly love reading for the period of today, Sunday, May 23rd, through that Saturday to come, May 29th. We're starting with the dice and try again. Somebody could be trying to reignite a relationship, maybe, or reattempt to reach somebody, to contact somebody, or to get back out into the dating scene. You know, whatever maybe you figure didn't, whatever failed or wasn't successful in relation to your love life or your romantic life, however you want to put it, trying again at, getting it right. Then there's buy shoes, maybe for a date or something, and massage. And Spirit says romantic dinner. Email. This could be a means of reaching out to someone. And still buy shoes. I apologize. I just broke a nail. You know, as I've said many times, I have acrylic on my nails, but these are my nails. And so when they break, it's really pretty awkward. But I just filed this one down, and it is what it is. I'll try to get to the nail guy again, but with COVID, it's been very, very hard. You know, they're not always there. Like last week, I was so desperate, and every day I called, they're like, nope, the guy's not here, the guy's not here. It's a man that does my nails now. I'm going to shuffle these in front of you. We're beginning with the Hierophant with this deck, which represents the sign of Taurus. Taurus, where the sun, from where the sun recently left. Sun is now in Gemini. Gemini season officially. Happy birthday to all my fellow Geminis out there. I know you guys have started celebrating. We start off the year, the month every year with Biggie, right out the gate on the 21st. So, yeah, happy birthday to the rest of us. The Hierophant, like I said, represents the sign of Taurus. It's like the high priest. And this week is the feast day, or the feast day does fall. It's a moving feast day based on whenever Easter is. But this year it does fall this week, the feast day of Jesus, the high priest. So maybe that's why this is showing up. But in terms of love, high priest is about traditional situations, traditional relationships, or approaching a relationship or your love life in a traditional manner. Like first I get married, then I have kids, or it's traditional, to date and then get engaged and then get married, and maybe sometimes traditional to stay in a relationship that you otherwise wouldn't. When the card shows up, it just means like this week is not necessarily the week to go against the grain in terms of those kind of things, whatever goes outside of your ideologies and practices. But within them, things should be good. Relationships should be strengthening, growing. If you're single, great opportunities to meet somebody. The next card is in reverse, but it's another one that presents like really awesome. Oh, wow. I knew that was the Lovers as soon as I saw like the sun behind it. So this is some really strong energy for love and relationship that I hadn't planned on talking about, because usually like if the next card's in reverse, I won't even go into detail about it. And then I saw the Lovers peeking out like that. So the Two of Wands I'll talk about, even though it's in reverse. This one is if you're like looking for love, you're single, and sometimes it means like you can't even picture like, how am I going to meet somebody, or is anybody interested, or how am I going to get back out there? So maybe that's where the try again. Dice is coming from. And, this one says that if you're single, even if it doesn't seem like conceivable to you necessarily, something definitely like on the horizon for you, like right around the corner. And if you're in an existing relationship, again, it should be deepening. The Lovers, similarly, means the same thing. It's about true, long-lasting love, like the legit stuff. That real love, that real bond, when it is about love. Sometimes it's about a heart versus head decision. So it can still be about love in that case. Maybe your heart is one place and telling you to do one thing, and your head is telling you to do something else, like to follow tradition. Right? Or not to follow tradition. Your heart's in the opposite place, maybe. Queen of Wands, also a really fantastic energy in terms of love and relationships. She is, a super like bold and confident, somewhat independent, but still that like picture of queendom and divinity. And actually, there's a feast day this week of Mary too, like Queen of the Church. Not to be confused with the Queenship of Mary, which is August 22nd. This week, again, it's another moving holiday based on whenever Easter falls. It's like Queen or Mother of the Church, implemented by Pope Francis in 2018. I talk about it in the general reading, of course. The Queen of Wands may be an actual person in your life, and perhaps specifically a fire sign, an Aries, Leo, a Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. She showed up in the general reading as well. Of course, the Lovers represents the sign of Gemini. Mercury, Gemini's ruler, and as well as the ruler of Virgo, goes retrograde this week. That may be why the Lovers is showing up. Also, of course, Gemini has been and remains the North Node as of now, the true North Node. And what else is going on with Gemini? The Sun is there. The moon is soon to be there, of course. But not this week. This week, the moon will be in what? Sagittarius, which is Gemini's polar opposite, actually. Mirror opposite, or opposite axis, right? The opposite polarity, polar opposite. On the zodiac, this Queen of Wands may be representative of the energy of Sagittarius, the South Node. You've seen all these. I'm just going to throw them in. So remember when I was talking to you about the song I was hearing, the Batman soundtrack song by Seal, and I was like sort of stuck on that line. Did you know that when it snows, my eyes become whatever they become? That was debatable because like there are a lot of sites that had the lyrics. We're not sure like where the lyrics were right. Are you seeing all these swords that are not very good? It's like the 9 of Swords, the 5 of Swords I just saw. Here's the 7. So that could be the Mercury retrograde coming through. There's Death in reverse, represents the sign of Scorpio, of course. All about transformation, transition. When it's in reverse, you still need to let energy move and let something go, let something change. But it's not, it's like you're not as fighting it as hard as perhaps if it's upright. And it's not as like serious or, maybe dire a situation as if it's upright. Here's a more positive 6 of Swords as well. I mean, a more positive Swords card as well. The 6. So anyway, I was stuck on that line. And then again with the swords, I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. Then like a week after that, it was during April, around the time of the moon too, the April full moon, which was the first of 2 super moons that we're having in the year of 2021. Look, the 2 of Cups. What a nice place to stop, right? With the 2 of Swords behind it, somebody could be trying to figure something out in their love life. Like what to do. Should I be traditional and go normal? Or should I do something else? And maybe should I follow my heart or follow my head? Or try to follow a combination of both? Oh. I guess I was meant to have this because I promise you I didn't remember that I had laid those here. So I guess they're meant to be on top. But I otherwise mixed up the other cards. So I was stuck on that line. And then it was April. And then I thought about the Prince song, Sometimes It Snows in April. And I'm like, maybe this has something to do with it. And Sometimes It Snows in April is also from a soundtrack. It's from the soundtrack of Under the Cherry Moon. And since we were at the full moon at that time, it was the pink moon. I was like, well, white cherries can be kind of pinkish. Maybe this is talking about this moon. I'm like, but I kept thinking in my head, but cherry, when I think of cherry, I really think of red, to be honest. And that would be more like the blood moon, which is this month, which is this week. And it is the second of the 2. So it's the second and final supermoon of the year. Also a lunar eclipse. And the other day, what I thought about with this snow is the song by the former Miss America, the black woman. What is her name? I just had it and I just lost it. The light skinned woman with the green eyes. She used to live like next door to my old boss. I can't think of her. Vanessa Williams. Vanessa Williams. Yes. Um, yeah, she went to high school and stuff with my old boss. Small world. She has a song, Save the Best for Last. And the lines of that song is, sometimes the snow comes down in June. Maybe now, I mean, it's May, but we're almost in June, and maybe it means Gemini season, if there's a message in there for us. Sometimes the snow comes down in June. Sometimes the sun goes around the moon. I see the passion in your eyes. Sometimes it's all a big surprise. There was a time when all I did was wish you'd tell me this was love. It's not the way I hoped or how I planned, but somehow it's enough. So it's like she's getting something from this person, this love interest. And maybe it's not the way that she had pictured their love life or their relationship would be, but she's satisfied with what it is. Somehow it's enough. Sometimes the snow comes down in June. Sometimes the sun goes around the moon. Just when I thought our time had passed, you went and saved the best, like me, for last. So that could be a message for somebody too. And it would be, I mentioned the other stuff because of now, of course, this would be the more cherry moon. The blood moon occurs. I think it's Wednesday. It's the 26th, I believe. It's this week. It's definitely this week. And it is going to be a special moon. It's a full lunar eclipse. And it is the second and last supermoon of the year. Anyway, family with the Magdalena deck. I'm using the Magdalena deck again for old time's sake because this is also the final week or day of Easter season. It's today, actually. Today's the Feast of the Pentecost, the day that the Holy Spirit is said to have descended upon the earth, and specifically Jesus's disciples and apostles, and all around the world speaking to people in their own native tongue, just like the Bible says will happen ultimately. Like, we don't have to go around trying to force God upon people. God reaches people in their own language and stuff like that, is what the Bible says. So this is the day that celebrates that. It's also celebrated by Jews, Hebrews, not for the same reason and not by the same name, not as the Pentecost, but this day was 49 days after Easter, or for them, 49 days after Passover, was celebrated in the past, or in the Old Testament, or in the Torah, for them, because it's the time that Jesus is said to, God, the Father, is said to have given the Jews the Torah or the words for the Torah via Moses on Mount Sinai. So they consider that like a marriage between them and God. So every year they celebrate it like an anniversary, kind of. Maybe that's why we're starting with a card like family. This family card, really, though, the meaning in the book is about how everybody in your family, yourself included, is there for a reason. Like, we all have a purpose, but we may not feel like we fit. We may not like everybody in our family. They may not like us, and that's not we're not necessarily meant to. But that in every experience and every relationship, there's good to go along with any bad that there is, and that a family dynamic is the best way and place to learn what it truly means to love unconditionally. Because there could be people that you can't stand, but maybe you still love them. So keep that in mind. Then we have, immediately following it, we have the love card, which says that, if you're in an existing relationship, this is a week of it deepening. So now we've seen that message a few times already. Definitely of it deepening, getting stronger, more reciprocal, even, balanced. And if you're looking for love, again, there's something definitely on the horizon for you this week. The Eternal embrace, also upright. And similarly, this one is about, look, it has a flame. It's like an eternal flame, like a twin flame kind of relationship. And it is about mirror opposites and polar opposites, which is like what twin flames are, you know. And that's how we attract one another and repel one another too. So there could be some twin flame stuff coming up this week. And Sophia is about somebody close to you, somebody that you care about, needing your love and or support this week. And Ascension is about growth. For some of us, this could be about real real ascension on this plane, you know, for some of us, you know, experiencing spiritual growth. And for some, it could be tied to somebody that passed away, maybe a love interest that passed away, a romantic partner that passed away, your husband, your wife, your ex-girlfriend or boyfriend. And maybe they have some sort of message for you this week. Maybe they want you to know that you have their blessing or something. You know, they're not judging you maybe for being in a new relationship or looking for a new relationship or wanting somebody, you know, to love or grow old with. There's no judgment. And I'm going to throw these in the middle. Same way. And shuffle. The next card was Guardian Angel. And of course, that person can also be a guardian angel for you. Or somebody in your family maybe that wasn't your love interest, that's just concerned for you, and wants you to know it's okay, you can go on, you can be happy, I want this for you. Maybe you want to do something that's non-traditional, again, go against what your parents would have wanted or something, your grandparents would have wanted, and they're letting you know it's okay. Like maybe they were homophobic. I don't know, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Maybe because June is also Pride Month. That just came up. Maybe they were homophobic. And so even though you want to be yourself and maybe be, you know, intimate with somebody and start a love with somebody of the same sex, you also have like it's a head versus heart sort of thing. You got like this push and pull between also having a connection to your family and wanting to make them happy even if they're no longer here. And I'm just getting a message of somebody being told that it's okay. So there's like a racial issue, again, a gender issue, a sexuality issue. There's just guidance to do what's in your heart to do. And our overall energy from this deck is Mythic Reality. And then last but not least, we're starting with, it's the only one that's upright, the Three of Pentacles, your most satisfying and profitable career, and I would add relationship or anything in your life really, comes from following your passions, listening to your heart, and doing what brings you joy. So this is what I was just guiding, you know, us all to do, or recommending that we all do, is follow our own hearts if we're torn in one of these decisions. Your life purpose, which we also just talked about, everybody in their family, everybody on earth has a life purpose. And your life purpose is best fulfilled by allowing your talents and your true self to shine forth out into the world. Three of Pentacles can be about somebody with whom a relationship is growing or will grow, but don't rush it. It may take a little time, it may take some patience. I talked about how threes can require patience the other day in the general reading. You may meet or have met this person through work as well. And if there's a delay, if there's a need to be patient, it could be just because of like Mercury retrograde, like sometimes things don't come together and you don't want them to necessarily during that time. Like a lot of astrologers will say not to enter any contracts, including, you know, love relationships, like commitments, contracts or commitments during Mercury retrograde, because they, you know, have a good chance of not working out. Of course, nothing's set in stone. There are people who have united during Mercury retrograde, but you know, a lot of times it just doesn't work out. We got another 3. It's the 3 of Cups, a celebration, a wedding, graduation, or a birth announcement, and the need to have more fun. This card was also the surrounding energy in the general reading. Then we have the 10 of Swords behind it. So we're coming out of something that was difficult, but we're moving into a better energy. And that's what the general reading was about too, actually. The end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change. So this may be associated with that death card. Something I said, something has to change, and we should allow it to. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. It's possible that somebody's recovering from an addiction. The next card is another 10, but a much more positive 10. It is the Wheel of Fortune, a time of positive change. A situation suddenly moves forward. So if something was stuck and difficult, it is no longer. And then you should look forward to it not being again. You know, like keep your mind and your thoughts in that positive forward moving state. And don't be thinking about like when the next shoe is going to, you know, fall, drop, or you know, however that saying goes. This is a time of positive change. The wheel represents the planet Jupiter on the sign of Sagittarius, which it rules, again, which is Gemini's mirror opposite, the South Node, and where the full moon will be this week. This card is also tied to the signs of Scorpio, so maybe that energy of death again. Full moons are also about endings, death. So are lunar eclipses, change, transformation. Aquarius. And actually Jupiter is it Jupiter that's retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, or goes retrograde in the sign of Aquarius this week. Or one of the planets is retrograde in Aquarius. I think it is Jupiter that goes, it's been in Pisces, and I think it moves into Aquarius this week. So there's that. And there's something else. Full moon. I can't think. The other planets, or zodiac signs rather, to which this card or the planet Jupiter is connected, are Leo and Taurus, with which we started with the Hierophant. Then behind it, also upright, we have the Page of Swords, who is logical, honest, impulsive, and curious. Challenging information, delays or changes to plans. Those are the delays I was talking about. We may need to be patient. Also, truth delivered without tact. And the next card is in reverse. It is the King of Swords. So we're going to start with the Rider-Waite. I say start, and people are always like, you started when you first started talking. You start when you first started talking about the cards, because I'm like well into the reading right now, and I haven't done the spread yet. But of course, I've been talking about cards all along. Again, we have a really nice overall energy with the Two of Cups, and the card representing the fire signs. This is perfect. Is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius is the sun, which most directly represents the sign of Sagittarius in the tarot. But of course, the sun, Earth's star, the sun, rules the sign of Leo. So very nice. We have a long weekend. We have Memorial Weekend this week, and this can be about breaks. Maybe wanting to take a break together, go on vacation, a getaway, or some time, you know, just to spend together to work on your relationship. Or single people maybe wanting to get away and you go on vacation and you meet somebody, or while you're having fun in the sun, you meet somebody while you're at a barbecue. I'm giving the whole reading on this card already, and I'll come back to it a little bit more too. Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, your card is the Tower in reverse. I'll just say not as bad as the Tower upright. Okay. My fellow air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Our card is the Queen of Wands in reverse. And last but not least, the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Your card is Temperance in reverse. The Two of Cups upright. Everybody see those? I just thought about the some more words to that song. There's another line that I guess I'm supposed to share with you. So now we're standing face to face. Isn't this world a crazy place? Just when I thought our chance had passed, you went and saved the best for last. And I'm also being shown that you isn't necessarily your mate or love interest. Um, it could be an existing mate, like maybe you thought you were never going to get married, or, you were never going to move in together, or never going to whatever, and that finally happens. But I'm being shown that it's not necessarily one's mate or even love interest. It might be God. Like when you thought that there was nothing left for you, you thought there were no opportunities for you in love. You were just gonna grow old and be a spinster, or whatever they call a man that's forever a bachelor or something. I remember I had a friend, good man. He told me that was one of his fears at one point. My only fear is being like 50, 60, and I'm still not settled down. He ended up getting married not long after that, like a couple years after that. Anyway, he was a pimp too, like a literal pimp. So it meant a lot for him to go from being a bachelor to a married man, a faithful married man. If it could happen to him, it could happen to anybody. I guess is why I'm sharing that with you. So yeah, it could be God, like that, a person, not necessarily a woman. Vanessa Williams obviously is a woman, but not necessarily a woman, or the feminine even. It could be the masculine too, a male, talking like to God, that just when I thought like our chance, yours and God's, in terms of your love, your relationship, um, had passed, God went and saved the best for last, and like is now giving you something that you can be happy and content with, maybe for the rest of your life. So somebody may experience that this week. And with the cards that we have, very, very good choice, possibility of that too, especially with our overall energy here. The Two of Cups, it's weird. I was looking to make sure that everybody could see all the cards. They were all in frame, and that popped into my head, and I got like distracted. But the Two of Cups is about true love, as I think I mentioned before, balanced partnerships, commitment, all the things that most of us hope for with regard to love relationships. I mean, it doesn't mean that you can just like, oh, the Two of Cups is popping up for my love life. I don't have to do anything. You don't have to put any effort, and it will last. But it means that like the foundation, there's a real solid potential for true love and affection and happiness, whether it is somebody that you're meeting now, very soon, likely very soon headed your way, or somebody that you're already with. So moving on to back to the fire signs again. The sun showing up in your love life means that if you're in a committed relationship, both you and the person with whom you are, so whether it's like a marriage or living together or just dating or whatever it is, some kind of commitment, you are probably both, one or both of you is in more than the usual need of space. But that doesn't necessarily mean space from one another. It can, but I'm thinking that's not as likely with the Two of Cups as our overall energy. So it can mean, somebody wanting to take a break and be away from you. But I don't think it does. I don't think it does, at least for the most part. If somebody wants to take a break and be away from you, it's probably because your relationship is not going well, and they want to be with whom they do have a two of cups kind of connection with, and maybe they're breaking away from you to be with them, and that's perhaps why we saw a couple of threes today too. Three of Pentacles, Three of Cups. Sometimes threes can be about a third party situation, and as I've said many times, third party situation from my readings doesn't necessarily mean another love interest, but of course it can. Sometimes it's just a third person that's involved, period, which I'm going to talk about a little bit with regard to the air signs and this Queen of Wands in a moment too. But in any case, so you guys may need a break. I'm going to say more likely together than not, and you should take it. It's Not a time, however, to be like whiny or clingy or needy. That would be a turn off to either one of you. And then they will want to break from you too. If you're looking for love, definitely on the horizon is another. I mean, how many cards have we seen so far today that said that? This is another one. Also, this can be about, again, spending some time in the sun, maybe together with your love interest or mate, or meeting somebody out in the sun. Maybe you're going to a sunny climate, a tropical island, or again, you're going to be out barbecuing for Memorial Day or something like that. And, it's good for your love life for you to do so. So moving on to the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Tower in reverse is not as tense again as the Tower upright, but it is still like an indication that a relationship needs more work and more communication if it's going to survive. So it's not necessarily over, but it could use some help. And this is about thinking positively and not focusing on changing your partner. If you want to change somebody, make it you. Don't try to change another person. And that's some of the other cards that we were looking at, like in the Magdalena deck, when I was saying that I was talking about like opposites and stuff like that. A few of the cards that popped up for us today direct us to like look at the things we don't like in other people and then find them in ourselves and make the change there. So this is probably like another message guiding us to do that. Also, again, thinking positively toward improving the situation, and consider how we are contributing to the situation in ways that, again, we can improve it, or at least our own part of the relationship. And sometimes we can do that by looking at what we don't like or what we're unhappy with in the other person, and we are a reflection of them. Moving on to the air signs, Queen of Wands in reverse. So a woman doesn't have to be a woman, could be a male. It doesn't have to be a feminine, it could be a masculine. But in traditional tarot practice, perhaps a woman, a light-haired woman no less, maybe older, could be involved, like indirectly involved in our relationship. She could be like a mother, maybe of our mate, a mother-in-law, and we should do our best to make her our ally and not somebody that's working against us. And kind of regardless of how you feel about it, not necessarily being fake, but I guess at least being respectful, especially if she's a mother of your love interest or mate or potential mother-in-law or your actual mother-in-law. You're going to want to not, it's better to have her as your ally than your enemy for sure. If you're looking for love, you could possibly meet a potential partner through an older woman, and maybe an older woman of that description, light hair and stuff. And you should let the women in your life that are around you know that you're looking to meet somebody new, because they may be able to help you. And last but not least, the water signs. You guys have Temperance. Temperance is another card that represents the sign of Sagittarius and the planet Jupiter. But if you look at the card, for me, it always has a water bearer on the front. Like, this is a water bearer. This person, this angel rather, pouring water between two vessels and standing in a pool of water, a river or something, a stream. And so it gives me Aquarius vibes also. Maybe a water sign that is tied to an Aquarius, or maybe again it has to do with Jupiter being an Aquarius, and Jupiter being tied maybe to Scorpio, or Jupiter having previously been in Pisces. Maybe are reasons why this is popping up here with the Aquarius vibes. But regardless of that, the card itself means that we may not be in balance, or at least in terms of our relationships, even though the Two of Cups is about balanced relationships. So if we're not, this is an opportunity this week for us to get in balance based on our overall energy and all the other beautiful cards that we've seen. It's a good time to consider what others are bringing to our lives, and vice versa, what we're bringing to other people's lives. You may feel that you're giving like 3,000% to a relationship and the partner's not even giving 100, but we have to also be aware that our partner may see things the other way around. They may feel like they're giving 3,000% to the relationship and we're not even giving 100. So it's important to maybe have a conversation and try to get on the same page. We want to be reciprocal. We want to give to each other. This is what this energy is saying. Also, if you're looking for love, it's about security. This can be about feeling insecure and stuff, but we got to be secure in ourselves as individuals first before somebody else, like a mate, doesn't complete us, doesn't make us whole. Like, we have to make us whole. We have to be whole on our own and then join another whole human in order to have a whole relationship. You know what I'm saying? And so that's another reason maybe to, again, take a step back and look at yourself and what it is you have not liked in other people, maybe in your past relationships, and what of those things you may be exhibiting if you're honest with yourself. And how can you go about changing whatever those things are? Now I want to get into another spread from the perspective of the masculine. Divine feminine, the masculine as it relates to the feminine himself, and to the union or connection as a whole this week. Overall, what the masculine would have, what kind of energy like the masculine would have the feminine give to the union or connection this week if his if it was up to him, like if her energies were up to him, what he himself is like prepared to bring to the table, or his higher self is prepared to bring. What the universe wants to help us with, and the outcome for the week. And again, we had this overall energy of mythic reality. So it's about things that we couldn't even imagine happening. Miracles being brought in, things that were in our imagination, in our dreams, being brought into our reality. Masculine's got 2 cards there. Divine feminine. Family is back, as is the Knight of Wands. So it's about, again, recognizing that everybody in a family is there for a reason. Everybody on earth, I mean, we're all family at the end of the day too, right? Extended family. And we all have a purpose and a reason for being here. We're not going to like each other all the time. We're not going to like each other at all sometimes. And that's going to be, and vice versa. People are not going to always like us. And some people aren't going to like us at all. But with every negative thing, there's always, some sort of good or some sort of positive lesson attached that may go toward our life purpose. So that whatever that is could bring up an opportunity for us, maybe an opportunity for us to learn more about or to experience unconditional love, or to begin to shift into a place that allows for us to say, you know what, I don't like you, but I still love you, to someone. And it might be the Knight of Wands that gives us that opportunity. He is passionate, charismatic, confident, and restless. And opportunity arises that needs your attention right away. Moving quickly is important, yet there's nothing that you can't handle if you follow your own inner guidance. This Knight of Wands may be an Aries, Leo, a Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes as well. Could be Jupiter, again, himself. Could be Mars himself as well. Could be an actual member of your family that's a fire sign. Maybe a fire sign male. The masculine as it relates to the feminine, we have revelation. There's some sort of clarity or something that comes up, something is experienced, and it seems to be tied to a fiery energy as well. It may be born of this opportunity, all right, whatever the Knight of Wands is bringing to us. And it also may be tied again to an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And it may help us to make a decision. The 4 of Swords also showing up. It's time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide answers. Meditation may lead to revelation, is another way to look at it. This card is also about a current situation in your life possibly causing you some sort of anxiety, maybe because you need to make a decision or you need to take some sort of action, right? The Knights for me are about action and you don't know which one to take. and it's guiding you to sort of like sit still and listen to what's in your heart, again, to do, in order to possibly make a decision. Swords are often about anxiety. I was explaining that like Mercury and Gemini can control like the nervous system and stuff. So it could definitely be about that. Gemini and Mercury also rule siblings and family. So it could be something connected to that. And your love life, again, this Knight of Wands, potentially not only in your family, but maybe one of your siblings that somehow has an effect on your love life, because they have an effect on your life, maybe. So it affects your love life as an extension. And you may have to make some sort of decision with regard, again, to a family member or situation. Let me move this over. I'm realizing it's not really in frame as much as I thought. Y'all heard of that show Extreme Sisters? I'm not suggesting that that's going to be the kind of sibling situation that you have going on, but one of the things that I've watched it once or twice, not even in totality, but I've watched some of it once or twice, and like those relationships that some of us have with our siblings sometimes really do deeply affect our romantic lives. Anyway, the masculine as it relates to himself. The beloved, and the Six of Pentacles, gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, and receiving a loan or paying off debts. So this too is about reciprocity and equality and balance and equity in relationships and unconditional love and the ability to both give and receive. And the beloved, which is another card that's giving me Aquarius vibes here, especially with all the stars around her head, really guides us also to like pay some attention to ourselves, like in terms of that reciprocity. Remember, like the 3,000 and the 100. Am I really giving what I think I'm giving? Am I really receiving? Am I really open to accepting? Am I really trusting of people that I can accept and believe that they have no agenda, and let go of my heart and all those kind of things? So those are some of the things we're going to want to think about with these two cards popping up masculine for you guys. But in terms of the beloved specifically, and not just looking at the Six of Pentacles, it's a card that, it's another one of these cards that says if you're in an existing relationship, it's going to get deeper. And if you're single, then something's probably very likely on the horizon for you, because it's like you are full of this very magical energy, this very blessed energy, and it probably is one of receiving, manifesting from the universe. And so because of that, things are attracted to you, like other wonderful things, because your heart is exuding this wonderful energy. Again, it's give and take. You're giving that out. So the universe wants to give it back to you. You're attracting positive energies, and you're single, something, again, very likely on the horizon for you very soon. So this week, a lot could be changing. A lot of us could be meeting somebody if we're single, and starting new relationships, maybe taking it slow, not necessarily rushing into anything, because perhaps Mercury retrograde and the energies just won't allow us to, but getting to know somebody like on a real level, which is special too. In terms of the connection as a whole, the masculine's higher self is confused. Heart versus head. Something like his heart may be guiding him toward you, and or maybe you're the masculine, your heart is pulling you one way, and your head is telling you, like, logically, you don't belong with this person, or you can't be with this person, society's against you being with this person, your family wouldn't like it, there's something. It doesn't make sense for you to be with this person. They're too young for you, they're too old for you, they're a different religion, they're a different race, whatever. There's some sort of something. And what the card that partners with it says, the high priestess, major arcana card 2, representative of the energy of Gemini and the twins, right? It's Roman numeral 2 in the Rider-Waite. This is the time to pause and to reflect, not to take action. So it's saying, like, you don't have to ultimately make up your mind in that regard yet. You don't have to necessarily do that this week. But what you are guided to do is to pay attention to your intuition, pay attention to your heart, pay attention to any information you have available to you about this situation, do your meditation, think about it, and then decide. And when you decide, you know what, maybe you won't share your decision with everybody. Maybe until I go and I knock on this chick's door or this dude's door and tell them how I feel, I call or whatever, and we begin to get it popping. Maybe that's when I'll let you know what's going on in my life, but I'm not going to announce it early because you might, you might try to throw salt on my shit, and I don't want that. That's the high priestess. That's her vibe. That's her personality. She will, real G's, like Geminis, move in silence. And so she will use this tremendous wisdom. Twos also represent wisdom and supreme math. She will use this tremendous wisdom of hers and this great psychic ability that she has, this tremendous psychic awareness and very strong intuition that she has, and gut feelings, and she is able to sit still sometimes and listen to her heart, and she'll take all of those things, make a decision, and then keep it to herself. That's the guidance for you, masculine, with regard to the union or connection as a whole this week. Overall, miracles with this it's like the tree of life, right? Because it's with the Ankh here. The Ankh is representative of like the tree of life. Also, I'm seeing like sun. I'm seeing moon. This is a very interesting card. And there's like a third eye in the middle of this tree. It's very spiritual, very like sacred, ancient, sacred awareness, and stuff I'm getting. But what's interesting is the tree, and then it's being paired with the Queen of Earth. So like more tree. And the Queen of Earth is Queen of Pentacles is just like an OD nurturer. She's like this super nurturer. She's like mother. She's the mother nature. She's thoughtful, caring, creative, and ingenious. Very possibly also a Taurus, most directly a Taurus. But possibly a Virgo or Capricorn as well. You will be given advice that's both practical and creative, and it should be followed precisely. Focus only on the positive in every situation or person, even the people we don't like in our family, or the situations we don't like in our family, or that are surrounding us that we're dealing with, things that are maybe difficult, things that are painful, things that are ugly about our family members, our family situation, our household situation, whatever it is. But the Queen of Earth guides you to also tidy up your environment, whatever that means. So if you have to cut people off in terms of spending time with them every day, then you should do that. If you literally have to clean up your house to freshen up the energy, give it a fresh coat of paint or hang some new curtains or whatever, you should do that, because it's about growing and nurturing new positive energy around you and within you and all over, right? And your environment. That's what the Queen of Pentacles is best at and guides us to do. And sometimes if you're looking for love, like you don't realize that it's connected, but you like remodel your house or just even do a major cleaning or whatever. And that is when it opens up the love energy too. Remember, I was dating this guy, but we hadn't seen each other in like a month. And it was a while. But when the universe did allow us to see each other again, for me to like visit him in his home again, I got to his house. It was spotless. I mean, spotless. And I'm sure this is one of the things that the universe had him working on. It had him doing a Queen of Pentacles. My ex-husband too, one time before we got married, because he was young and at home. His grandmother owned the house he lived in, and she lived across the street in another house that she owned. But in the house that he lived in, his mother lived in one part of it, he lived in one part of it, his uncle lived in one part, his aunt lived in one part. So his part was pretty messy, like clothes and stuff. I mean, not dirty, but messy, like clothes and stuff all over the place. And I said something to him one time. I don't remember what I said, this is early 90s. I don't remember what I said, but I said something to them about the room. And like the next time that I went there, it was spotless too. And that it helps to open up the energy. A girlfriend of mine too. She like redid her house and got rid of all her ex-husband stuff. Like when she finally did that, next thing you know, she was hearing from guys she hadn't heard from in months. Right. So that's that. Overall, what energy the masculine would have the feminine give to the union or connection this week if it were up to him. And we have the Secret, and we have the Queen of Swords. This is very interesting because the Queen of Swords is she? I mean, we're talking High Priestess, very possibly, not likely to reveal a secret. Independent, experienced, realistic, and witty. Objective decision making. Clearing away all that no longer serves you and seeing the humor in a situation. The Secret in the book is actually about feeling torn between saying something and not saying something about something you know. This card came up in the general, and it's about like somebody soon like deciding to confide in you or something, and it's possibly like the information that they do share with you will be like shocking or disturbing to you, like troubling to you, and you may feel torn between like two different loyalties. Like maybe you know another person that's involved, or maybe you're involved, like you're torn between yourself, like do I forgive, do I let this go, do I look past it, or what do I do? And it's another card that says like in your heart you'll know, and ultimately you have to be true to yourself and you have to follow your heart, and that's the only way that you're able to be true to others. And it also comes with a warning that this truth and you telling it, like if it's truth, then you may have to tell it, you may feel compelled to tell it. But you telling it may cause some sort of upheaval, or you learning it. I'm also getting, to deviate maybe from the traditional meaning of the card a little bit. You learning it may cause some sort of upheaval. Masculine may share something with you that you don't know about him, and it may be troubling, it may be disturbing, it may be really hurtful, it may be whatever. And what he's trying to hope for is your response will be Queen of Swords like, in that you'll be strong enough to take it. But the danger the danger with somebody's response being Queen of Swords like is also that they may cut you off, because that's what we're best at, right? Clearing away all that no longer serves you. It's right here in the card. We are the cutoff queens. Like I tell people all the time, my cutoff game is strong. I don't ever have to see you again. Like if we are like, it could take us a long time to tell people that we love them, and that's because we want to make sure. So if we're not getting rid of you, we probably like you a whole lot, and we may even love you, but before we say it, because we don't want it to be bullshit when we say it, we're going to take our time to make sure, right? We're going to think about it ourselves, meditate on it, and then maybe not reveal it until we're sure we're ready to reveal it. Right? Typical high priestess stuff. And it works the same way in reverse. Like when we're certain that we love them, and then we're solid with that, and we are like some of the most faithful people you could ever know or want to know in your life. Like Tupac had that song, "You ain't never had a friend like me." You don't understand like how if a Gemini or an Aquarius especially has your back, like if they are really down for you, you've never experienced anything like that, and before. But similar to that, when we're done and we decide we're done, because it's done and it's like done. Like I'm sure of it. And when we're sure of it, we don't have to ever see you again in life. We are that kind of people. I don't have to ever see or hear about you ever again in my life once I'm done. But once I'm done. If I'm not done, if I'm just done, then, there's room for you to come back. So that's what he's looking for there. Queen of Swords response, but that could go either kind of way, and it's going to be up to her to decide whether or not to reveal this truth, or if it means more, it makes more sense to keep it. But the truth usually needs to come out. Very rarely do we decide that a truism is something to hold back on. The masculine, what he himself is giving here, he's trying to make a comeback. He realizes that he fumbled the relationship or something last time. He's was really disappointed in himself. The relationship is still here though. He still wants it. He's been spending time being a pessimist and crying over spilled milk and just feeling stuck. How can I come back? How can I come back after the way I behaved, after the way I treated her, after the way I spoke to her, after I ghosted her, the way I dumped her? And it's not necessarily her. I mean, I'm using him for the masculine and her for the feminine, but these things, we're all androgynous at the soul level. So it can be a male, it can be a female, it can be a feminine, it can be a masculine, and combinations of those. All right. But of course, Major Arcana card 15, ego represents the devil, and it is about feeling stuck and not knowing your way out. How can I correct this situation? How can I get out of this situation? A false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things and negative or fear-based thoughts. But he wants to return. He wants to make some sort of comeback, even if it is just to tell you this truth and see how you respond. If that can allow you to get back together or at least renew a friendship, or if it's done. But he wants to get up the courage and the ability and figure out a means of reaching you. What the universe wants us both to do. Oh, Two of Cups. Just like our overall energy. This is what the universe wants to help us with and wants us both to work on. A relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness and the positive resolution of a conflict. And this card, Perception, is also about the other person needing forgiveness or something. You know what? Let me read this one to you guys from the book. I feel like I'm supposed to do that. But it is about the other person wanting forgiveness or something. So just like I was saying, he wants to come back and doesn't know how. It's probably that. Pages are about messages and things. This brings message of opportunity. The Page of Wands is outgoing, creative, confident, and mischievous. News of an exciting new endeavor. Use your originality and ingenuity. It's here crossing the Knight of Wands. Again, here's the news of the opportunity, and here's the opportunity itself. And it shows up in the form of serendipity. So how are you going to get news of this opportunity? How are you going to be notified? Through signs and synchronicities and sounds and music, right? The cherry moon and all that kind of stuff. Snow in June. Those are going to be the things that guide you toward the fact that there's a message out there for you, and then action that you're going to need to take thereafter. But let me get the book out of my drawer for Perception, to read Perception to you. All right. Let's see. Mother Mary. Wait, past lives. Oh, Perception. I turned right past it. Beware. Someone you're attracted to has the tendency to use others to fill their own void. That sounds very devilish too, very pride, very ego filled. So that could be the masculine, I would think. It says, to some extent, this is true of most relationships. However, in this particular case, the void wanting to be filled is insatiable. Can't get enough. That could also be represented by the devil. It's devil is about addiction and just I need also. Nothing you say or do will ever be enough. So tread carefully. Don't allow yourself to be drawn into other people's problems. All is not the way it is presented. Use your intuition and trust your natural instincts. In spite of its problems, a valuable lesson, so there's going to be good in it still, will be derived from this relationship. And as you realize that we are each responsible for our own well-being. I talked about that in the general too, how we're not responsible for things that, that just happen or come at us, but we are responsible for our reaction and how we deal with them. Taking on another's emotional baggage is of no help to anyone. So remain emotionally detached, Queen of Swords, and use your sixth sense, High Priestess, in order to navigate this confusion. Heart versus head. Can I trust this situation? The universe is trying to help me to see what I can trust, what I can't, what's real, what's fake, and to see this. This is hidden somewhere in between. Two of Cups. And we all want that. Hope you guys have enjoyed the reading. I will be back with the moon reading. Namaste.